Well, let's see. My influences on coming out here and helping so much the cemetery like I have has been like 40 years plus ago. My grandfather used to bring me out here because his families, they would come out and mow and work on sections of the cemeteries that their families were in. Well, different jobs I've had out here at the cemetery through my lifetime of either volunteering or for a short time. I did actually work for a while for the church out here when they had a problem with filling for a couple of people they did have working, was to dig graves and mow for a while. Well, it's just like for digging graves was not bad really. I mean, it was hard, especially in the drier weather because it's mainly clay area and up in Ohio here, this area of Ohio. So it was a lot of hard ground to go through, and then when it was wet, it was like you go to climb out of the grave and you have to make sure your boots didn't pull off because they were still stuck in the bottom. But you just had to keep in mind what you were doing was a job for the family to help them be put at ease by helping to create the final resting place for a loved one. Oh, the hardest job doing out here wasn't so much hard as far as in the physical part of it. Was that a gentleman and his wife they'd had a couple kids that both had passed away shortly after birth, and they'd been a couple years apart. So we have a section out here for children, and well, they wanted the two to be together. And there had been a couple other babies or infants died between that. So the hardest thing was we had to move the one that was already buried over to another section, and it's just bringing up and reinterring this little baby, and knowing that it just never had a chance to start a life and to go out there and live and know what the world was like. The upkeep we do that gets done by the volunteers, including me and a couple others, on the graves and the headstones, and that is for the graves you got to take and you make sure that once there's been a funeral that you can't put the final dirt and grass on until all the graves are settled, and then you've got to make sure that as they settle you keep going back over them and making sure the little corners where they have settled down are covered up, because you don't want somebody to come back to visit somebody that has just been buried and look down in the grave and find a corner of the vault that the casket's in. And I try to get out here to the cemetery on a kind of at least once a day, spend at least an hour or two depending on what has to be done. First thing is go around, look and see if there's any branches that have fallen that are blocking the roadway and around any of the graves, which really you try to make sure they're not on. And I run into people out here, I try to tell them if they ever run into one that's on their grave site, either move it up closer to the road or like over next to a tree if it's right there, just to make sure they don't move it onto somebody else's grave, because then you're really dishonoring the other person. Well, now that we've gone through some stuff on it in the cemetery, you've seen bits of it and parts of what I do. One of the real main reasons for the involvement and the volunteer on it is for the purpose of family. You need to take care of your family, and part of it is you take care of them through your kids when they're born, your parents as they get older, and you show respect to those that have gone beyond you or before you when they have passed, by going out and doing something when it's possible.